All right, everybody. I don't know if people are going to show up for this, but figured I would do it. I was out yesterday and wasn't able to put up projections. I wasn't able to go live. Just had all kinds of doctors and nonsense yesterday. So I figured I would put a little bonus coverage up here of the PGA event because I didn't do a video either. So I figured I'd make myself available, answer some questions, show some sheets, etc. And actually kind of show you my my lineup build. Now you'll forgive me, I am eating a little bit, but that's what happens when you do it at this time of day. Okay, so I know Bobby did a video, and unfortunately I did not see it. So if I go over something that he went over, I doubt I will, but I apologize. A couple of things to think about before we get into the players and then kind of the main decision point on the slate. First of all, remember what this tournament is. It's very similar in structure to the tournament I think 2 weeks ago. Most of the PGA slates are 2 days and then a cut of like 75 and ties or whatever, and some of them are no cut events. But this tournament, similar to 2 weeks ago, is a 3-day cut. Okay, so with a twist. What it is, you have 3 courses that everybody has to play on, and then after 3 days they cut. And it's not just that; it's weird. They have like a cut line, but then only 60 people actually play at the end. It's something like, what's it called? There's an acronym for it. I think make, cut, but did not finish or something like that. I don't know why they even do it, but, well, I know why they do it, but I don't know why they list it. In any case, the reason why they do it is it's a pro-am, and with a pro-am, you just have a whole bunch of people on the course. So to have too many golfers going, it's just not feasible. So they have 60, I think 60 golfers, I believe, going to day 4. So what does this mean with respect to construction? Well, in slates where you have no cut, let's start with that. Those slates tend to favor the stars and scrubs approach. The reason being that if you're top guy and you have a bad day or two, if it's a cut event, you're just dead. Where if you have a full 4 days to kind of get there, the cream kind of rises the longer the tournament goes on. So it's more likely that you give the top guys 4 days to get there without cutting them off after 2 days. It's more likely that they get there. So it becomes more of a priority to get those top guys in. And then, honestly, the cut events are really designed for middling builds. Now, it doesn't always work that way, but they're designed for middling builds, because if you play a top guy and he doesn't make the cut, I mean, that's a disaster, right? And if you only have 2 days to do it, it's tough. I mean, golf has a lot of funny bounces. And so what you have is the 3-day cut event, which you might imagine is, sort of a hybrid. So a couple of things before we get into this. In terms of sweating, don't worry about it. In other words, if you guys are doing poorly after day 1, I mean, unless you're crushed, you might not be in that bad shape. It just depends what course you started on. Now, again, if you want to be, it really doesn't help you too much, but like if you want to research which course is the tougher one, then you could at least know from the purpose of sweating, I mean, how bad you are. But since nobody really late swaps, since you're not late swapping, it doesn't really matter. So what I like to do is just kind of root for my guys. They're doing well, be happy about it. They're doing poorly, tilt about it. And if it turns out that the course distribution is the reason for that, it'll all work out in the end. So first thing I want to do is I want to show my sheets. We're going to go through the golfers. And then we're going to talk about Fitzpatrick, who was well, we'll talk about that. And then we'll do some builds. All right. I'm going to share my screen. With any luck, you'll be able to see this. But if not, I'll walk you through it. So at the top of the list, hold on, almost done with this thing. So at the top of the list, you have Hovland. Excuse me. Wow. You have Hovland and Fitzpatrick, and those are rated by Sheets Value Score. Not getting into all this, how this all happened, but these guys are rated significantly higher than these other 10K guys, Hoagie and Spieth. So given what I said, that it's a stars and scrubsy type slate, and given that these two guys rate at the top significantly higher than these two, I mean, in the absence of a huge ownership discount, can't see any reason why you wouldn't want to play both these guys. Now, when we look at the ownership projections, I mean, I'm pretty suspicious of them this week, but I'm just reporting it honestly. Like I see Hovland at 28%, Fitzpatrick at 22%, and then you look at the other 10K guys, Spieth at 21%, and Hoagie at 16%. I can't imagine Spieth being as owned as Patrick, like in a million years. I in the absence of an injury, right? I really believe that these top two guys, given the fact that you want to play stars and scrubs, and given the fact they're decent 7K guys, I think these guys are probably going to be a little higher, Hovland and Fitzpatrick. And if, God forbid, Fitzpatrick withdraws or anything like that, or there's really rumor, if the rumors continue that he's going to withdraw, or for what other reason people just are afraid to play him, then I think Hovland could push 40% ownership. I mean, especially in the big buy-ins. Spieth still gets some kind of public money in. I don't want to say public in the wrong way, but like MME builds. Not from the top 150 guys, but the people that just want to play. So Spieth will get some ownership. I think that Hoagie is probably going to be the one that gets left out in the dust a little bit of these 410Ks. I think 16 is maybe a little high. So someone in the Discord last night was asking, what's the pivot if you don't want to play Fitzpatrick? Well, I think Hoagie is very legitimately the guy that you want to put in as opposed to Fitzpatrick. I mean, the price is pretty much the same, and he's going to be lower owned if you don't want to play Fitzpatrick. Okay. The other thing I notice is this whole bunch of 7Ks, right? You extend it down to Bramlett if you want. But forget the Bramlett for a second. All these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7K guys are all rated pretty high. And you see this drop off in value score between Sig and the next bunch of guys. So these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, these are plays that you can play alongside of both Hovland and Fitzpatrick if you want, or alongside of Hovland and Hoagie if you want, or Fitzpatrick. You know what I mean? Like
These guys are all rated really, really strongly. Now, you see the ownership of these guys like 10%, 12%. I think that a lot of people are kind of seeing what I see. So it's possible that some of these guys end up being a little higher, especially in the bigger buy-in. But they do rate to be the top play. So one way you could play is really you put like Hovland and Fitzpatrick in the lineup, and then just kind of shuffle your favorites and see which ones you can get in. And I think that makes quite a bit of sense. Like if you want to do 3 max or 20 max or anything like that, I think that's a very reasonable way to play. You know, it's not a real big GPP type approach. You're just basically making the best plays, okay, and shuffling them reasonably well. So I'm probably going to do some of that. And then I'm going to use SaberSim to build 150s. But let's look at some other guys, and then we'll come back to Fitzpatrick. One thing I also noticed is that if you didn't want to, let's say you didn't want to play either Hovland or Fitzpatrick, Hoagie seems to be the logical guy, right? Just because he looks to be priced the same. But Power is 200 less, and McNeely is 400 less, and these guys are pretty strong as well. So if you didn't want to drop to Hoagie, if you didn't want to pivot to Hoagie, you could play McNeely or Power and get pretty much the same kind of lineup. And then, as you see, there's another 7,400 guy you can look at, and that'd be Bramlett over here. So what you could do, I mean, is you could take like these 17 or even these 15 golfers and put those in SaberSim or put them in Optimizer, shuffle them around and play a bunch of lineups, and you're probably in decent shape. You know what I mean? You probably have some good good opportunities. Now again, I don't know if that's going to win you the 200,000 or anything like that, but that's definitely one thing you could do. So I guess we may as well take a look at the big quote. So yesterday, when I came back, I saw a Q tag on Fitzpatrick, and essentially what he said, I mean, you can look this up, but he said his neck has been hurting him and he's in pain. And listen, golf is not a late slop sport. So he's scheduled to start like 8 groups after lock. So you have to make a decision on his injury status before the tournament starts. And it's possible that he makes an announcement before the tournament starts, but there's always risk that, let's just say that he says he's going to play, and then and the tournament starts, goes into warm-ups, and he just doesn't feel it. Here's another thing about Fitzpatrick, is that another part of his quote was he was saying that he's using this tournament as kind of a setup spot. In other words, he's using this as kind of a not even get right, but just kind of a warm-up spot. So, I mean, for me, the combination of the fact that it's a neck injury and the neck sucks. Right? He also said that, he'll be fine. He just doesn't have the speed that he wants. I mean, I don't like that, if you want to know the truth. And then, you have the comment that he's going to be in a warm-up spot as well. I mean, considering he needs to win, right? He's got to come at least first or second, I would imagine, to get there, or at least top 5. And that's just kind of a lot to ask with all that going on. Now, the other thing is that, think of it in terms of baseball, and we talked about this when we did baseball when it comes to weather concerns. Don't forget like how bad it is to get like a 0. You know what I mean? Like a 0 is the equivalent of a withdraw, or even if he goes 1 round and then gives up, or 2 rounds then gives up, that's a disaster. It's not like he's hurt, so he's going to play 36 minutes in basketball and just not quite be as good and maybe get only 5x instead of 6x. When you're talking about rainouts or withdrawals, and with that being a real risk in without a late swap ability, I mean that's a lot of risk to take. So that's on one side. Now here are the arguments on the other side of the equation. The other side of the argument, well, there's a couple of other sides. Number one is that you would think that ownership would be lower as a result, right? Everything that I just said seems to make sense. And you could argue that if you're willing to take on that risk, this 22% ownership number is probably too high. In other words, it's possible that ownership gets reduced to say 15 after all this is said and done. And the question then becomes, is that worth, is getting a 7% ownership discount on Fitzpatrick worth the risk you take of either him withdrawing or him just not being right? This is my opinion. Well, we're gonna get to my opinion in a second. There's one other thing that pretty sharp dude from another site pointed out. I'll just kind of throw in there. Like when you play a golfer, like you're always taking a risk that he's hurt, right? I mean, you're always taking a risk that he's hurt and playing through it, for example. But because, Fitzpatrick is the one that actually made the comments, people are way glued in on that. And it's that you're now taking a known risk as opposed to the risk you're always taking without realizing it. And I get it. But I just feel as though if there was an injury out there that, that was going to affect performance with all the gambling out there, I just think people would know it. Like if Joseph Bramlett or even Justin Suh or whoever was walking around in pain, I just think people would know it. It would leak or something, So with all that being said, I'm just going to tell you what I'm doing. You could play your own way, but I'm not playing Fitzpatrick. I'm probably just going to X him out of everything. That's just what I want to do. I'm willing to take on the risk that that he wins, and I don't have him. If you don't want to do that, what I do recommend is that if you play Fitzpatrick, play him with non-chalky pieces. That would be my middle ground. Is that if you didn't want to X him, then you could just make sure you only play him with non-chalky pieces. We're going to build in a minute, but let's just take a look at some other guys. And this is the way I like to look at my sheets for golf. And I'm going to make this, I'm doing videos of all the sports on how to play using the sheets. But one thing I like to do, and it's sort of like hockey, what I'm going to do here, let's look at guys that are rated highly. They're not too highly owned. And the guys that jump out are Taryn, Sig, and Bramlett. So if you were single building or whatever, and you wanted to pick between these 7K guys, I would just go for these lower owned dudes. And then you go down to here, Davis Riley, just sub 10%, whatever. What I would probably try to avoid are guys down here that are above 10%. Like Speed, Smalley, Ben Griffin, Russell Knox, this Damon, 12% all the way down here. Putnam, 14%, all the way down there. Justin Rose, 10%. So I would consider doing that. Thank you, Evan. Saberson updated. I don't think there was much of a change actually, but I just in numbers. But I just did another run just to do that. So what you could do. So here's people are asking me kind of like different ways to use SaberSim, and I want to share with you one thing that I like to do. If you want to
overweight some guys, you know. First thing I will do is, so I'm going to build like a whole series of lineups, and I already did it, and it will ruin my screen to replace it. But I'm just going to show you what I'll do. So let's say that you want to first build lineups like with what I just said, right? So you'll start with, you make like a little cutoff here, okay, of a value score, which you don't want to kind of go beneath. And what I like to do is find like a little cutoff here. So okay, so here's a little break between Power and Hoagie. Oh, but here's actually a bigger one between Sig and McNally. So with these 9 golfers, what I will do, you can actually do this with using the True Lineup Builder, True DFS Lineup Builder as well. But let's do it with SaberSim. What I want to do is just upload these guys to SaberSim and get all the combinations with these guys just to get started. So the way I'll do that, and then we got to keep track of all this, right? So let's actually do this. Let's have some fun. I got to make sure to leave myself some time. So I'm gonna stop this probably at about 11:15 or 11:20, so I can just tweak. But so what I'll do is, first of all, I have to do this. So I can't upload all this right to SaberSim because then I'll have to start Xing all these guys out, which you could. But what I like to do is create my own file. So let me do that. So I'm going to call this PGA Sim 1. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just put those guys that I just highlighted in this file. So we're going to do Hovland down to Sig. And I'll show you what that looks like in a second. And you have to put the FSID in as well. So hold on, let's put that over there. And we're going to go fantasy points. You're going to see what happens when we go through this. It's kind of like kind of a cascading opinion portfolio. Okay. All right. So what we did is we replaced the normal file with just these. So what we're going to do is we're going to delete. So we're just going to have the top 9. And then what we'll do is we go into SaberSim. And with any luck, it'll launch. Okay. You can do this right on the site as well, but just to kind of give you an example. So what we'll do is we'll upload that small file, which was PGA DK Sim 1. And you'll see it only has these golfers. So we'll do this, and we'll do this. And you'll see it only put in the projections of those guys that we did. So let's build, I don't even know how much we're going to be able to play. But let's just play, we'll put in 30, but we're not going to probably be able to get 30 because there are probably not enough combinations. But let's just take a look. Okay. Ooh, it does get more than I thought. All right, so you actually get, you have 47 lineups that you can pick from. Okay. Oh, but wait a minute. There was something I forgot to do, right? I forgot to take out, Fitzpatrick. Oops. Yeah, so I am, that's right, I'm not playing Fitzpatrick. So we got to do this all over again. All right, so I don't know how much we're going to get of this, but let's just see. I wonder how many lineups we get. All right, so we get, there's a pool of 21. So these would be considered my, 21 top lineups here. Okay. Now you'll see that these have, they're leaving money on the table. Okay. And the reason for that is because, I didn't replace Hoagie with whatever. but just to kind of show you what I'll do. So let's download these here, and we're going to give this file a name. We're going to give this we'll call this save as. We'll call this live build. Nice build. Call it live build. We're gonna get back to that in a second. So the next thing we're gonna do is now we're going to expand our pool here. So now what we're gonna do is look, we're gonna get rid of Fitzpatrick, so we don't screw this up again. And then what we're gonna do is now we're gonna expand our pool to the next breakpoint. So here we were stopping at SIG. But now what we're going to do is we're going to get to the next breakpoint where we can use like Hoagie, for example. So now the next one where there's a little bit of a gap is after Davis Riley. Okay. Or if you want, we can go down to here where there's a 3-prong drop. So let's do that actually. Now, what you're going to do is you're not going to limit yourself to just that next group. We're going to do the whole 23 golfers. Now, hopefully you'll see kind of where I'm headed here with this, okay? But let's just see. So let's do the same thing. Let's pull up that Sim1 thing, and let's actually, we can start from the beginning. Let's put a name over here, and then we'll do, again, I can't show the same, two screens at the same time, actually. The DFS IDs. And this I think is actually kind of cool. This is the way I build like pretty frequently, and I don't show it all that often because I'm really not sure if it's what the faults are of it, but I'm sure there are plenty of flaws to it. But I kind of like it. It does kind of give you an opinion-based approach. So now we got 23 golfers that we're using. We're going to resave this as Sim1. We're going to save this as Sim1. And then we're going to go back to SaberSim. Back to SaberSim. And now we're going to go back to here. Oh, we got plenty of time. We'll upload Sim1, which is the new Sim1. And now we have 23 golfers to choose from. All right. And now we're going to build. Now it's going to give us unlimited, so we don't want to do that. So let's build 50. Okay, so we're going to build our top 50 out of this group. Okay. So again, remember what we're doing. First, we took our top 10, or top 13, shuffled all those. Now we're going to, we found a little break point in the value score. So we're prioritizing everything that's above that, including, right, those first 12 golfers. So now we're taking the top 50 lineups of all this, okay? It's going to be like 100% Hovland, but whatever it is. So now we're going to download these, and then we're going to add these to that file with the running lineups. Okay, so hold on. That was called live build. So now we're going to add those. Now you might be thinking, boy, are you getting duplicates? Remember, using the same top 13 in 2 different builds. Maybe you'll get duplicates. Well, we're going to find out. Okay. So now we have 71 lineups. All right, but we want to build at least 150. So now what we want to do, we'll save this, and now we'll go back to the sheet, the main sheet, and now decide what we want to do next. Like, do we want to do another breakpoint, or just want to just say Oli end free, and then like let them all come in? Let's see if there's like a very discernible breakpoint in value score here that maybe is like 3 points or 5 points or something like that. They'll allow us to, like, here's one. Like after the 65th golfer, there's a 3-point drop. Maybe that's kind of a good place to stop. Let me just look. Actually, this one here, is it almost a 3-point drop. So it's a question of what I want to do. Let's open it up to more golfers. Let's go down and have and let's get it to the top 65. Was it top 65? No, it was. Where was the three level drop? Oh, right here. So we'll include everything to Carl Yuan. So again, I don't have to do this whole thing again, but I like to do it this way. Let's again go back to PGA Sim 1. We'll go all these guys. Now again, we're going to go DFS ID all the way down to Carl Yuan. Boom. Get the DFS ID in there. We're going to go to fantasy points. All the way to Carl Yuan again. Boom. And we're still taking advantage of the SaberSim, lineup builder, but we're really overweighting our sheets here. So we have it all in here. We're going to resave it again, same file name. One, and then we're going to go back in here, back into SaberSim. We're going to upload, and now we're going to re-put now we're getting just the top 69, its own thing. Now, how many do we want to build here? We built 50, and then we built 30, and let's build another 50. Okay, so we're probably going to get some dupes, but might not be as many as you think. Okay, so another 50. So remember, we have 30, 50, and 50. And I imagine I'll probably get like a whole bunch of Fitzpatrick again, but not Fitzpatrick, Hovland again. But it's okay. I mean, when you have a 10K guy, in almost a no-cut event. All right, so a whole bunch of Hovland again. So let's download these. Boom. And we're going to add these once again to that live live build file. Okay. So now we have this, and now we have 121 lineups built. So I want to build 29 more. So so the 29 more, what I'm going to do is just let everybody in. Okay. So we're going to just do everything. We're going to put the whole file in, except again, we're going to X out Fitzpatrick. Actually, this one will include Fitzpatrick. Okay, that's what we'll do. For these 29, we'll include Fitzpatrick, and we'll include the whole thing. All right. So we are going to upload CSV, this whole thing, and we'll do a full build of 29. 29. Okay, so now we're doing the top 29 total, including Fitzpatrick. I'll get to you in a minute, Eric. I'm just in the middle of something. So this is, again, when you have these opinions, you have these sheets, like, what do you do with them? How do you build? And I think this is a really cool way to do this. So let's download these. We're going to add these 29 to the pile. Boom. We're going to go back to that live build file. Again, this is building 150. Like you could, if you wanted to, if you want to build 10, 15 lives, you could do the same thing with just that top group. Okay. So this is the portfolio. Now I'm curious how many dupes we're getting out of this, and we're going to see, right? So this is what I'm going to do. I'll show you. I'm going to replace these because I already built 150. So what we're going to do is we're going to hold on. Let me just copy here. Copy here. We're going to pull up the existing five because I want to replace them and see what I got. So boom, we'll put these in here. And then what I want to do, just so I know how many dupes I have, I'm going to hold on. I'm going to, because I'm playing some bigger stuff too. But for the purposes of just figuring out the dupes in the 150, just of the lineups we built, we're gonna save this. We're gonna put this whole file in, and this is kind of the trick. It's how we figure out what's going on here. Okay, so I just uploaded all 150 into here. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna see what we got, and the way you could do that is to see how many lineups appear more than once. Okay, so you'll see not that many. How funny is that, right? So some of them are just duped because of they're in multiple tournaments, right? So this one, multiple tournaments. This one's a dupe. That's one. This one's in multiple tournaments. This one's in multiple tournaments. So only one dupe so far. That one's in multiple tournaments. This one's in multiple tournaments. And this was in multiple tournaments. So I want you to think about what happened here. Okay. So we did 5 different builds. We did a build of our top. We did a build using our top 13 golfers, all the combinations. Then we did a build using our top 30 golfers, including the top 13. Then we did a build using our top 66 and included the top 13. And then we used all of them and included the top 13. You would have thought that you would get all kinds of duplicated lineups, but you didn't. Okay, you only got one duplicated lineup of them all. And all I'd have to do here is just kind of just literally manually go in and say, okay, well, who do I want to, where do I want to diversify here? So let's go. Probably have a whole bunch of Hovland. So let's I'll put in one speed just for funsies. Yeah, I'll put in one speed just for funsies. All right. And let's just make sure that beautiful. So we only have, I don't think we have any dupes aside from lineups that have been moved into other tournaments. Okay. Boom, boom, boom. Awesome. And that is one way, okay, to utilize the sheets along with SaberSim to get what you want, right? Okay, so Eric, you weren't here at the beginning, where you do want to play probably one of these 10K guys, if not 2 of them. And I just kind of made the decision to not play what's his name? Fitzpatrick. So if that's the case, you're just going to get a whole bunch of Hovland. That's just the way it's going to be. The only thing that you might, the only thing again that again, just to be pure, you'll see that in these builds I have like a bunch with leaving money on the table, and the reason for that is, remember, I left in that first build. You'll see something. In that first build, I only used, I'll show you. I only used the top 13 guys, and I X'd Fitzpatrick out. Okay, actually, I went all the way down just to Sig. So you were going to get like leaving money on the table here. It's probably not the best idea. I'll probably go back, and change those a little bit. Okay. Yeah, I don't know, JJ. It's possible. It's possible. But I mean, if you're zeroing Fitzpatrick, that can't be bad. And what it is you kind of like rely on SaberSim to shuffle these things enough to give you some ownership fade. The one thing I would, listen, if I'm playing the 150s, yeah, I only have, let's see how many fits I have. Yeah, I don't have much. Let's look at this. I mean, of 150 lineups right now, yeah, I don't have any Fitzpatrick. Yeah. So, as a matter of fact, I probably should have had some in that 29. That's interesting. So I probably should have had some in that last build I did when I did the. Remember, I did the 29. That last one. It was here, right? Yeah. So this one, I want to do this one again. All right, let's do this one again. Let's apply. Let's go back here. Fitzpatrick here. Okay, that's good. Let's build again. Let's build 29 lineups. What is this? Let's build 29 lineups with Fitzpatrick. Not with Fitzpatrick, with Fitzpatrick available as an option. Let's take a look. So I do think that I probably should get some, right? I probably did something wrong. Because if you did leave him as an option, you'd want to, I mean, you'd get some, right? I mean, he rates to be the second best play if he doesn't get hurt, right? Yeah, I don't know why Fitzpatrick is not showing up, like literally at all. It's very interesting. Let me just see if I list my projected score. What I get. I'm not getting any for some reason. I don't know what's going on here. Oh, because I see. Let me just see something. Am I getting Fitzpatrick even as an option? Yeah, I am. Just not. Just doesn't seem to be getting there for some reason. So yeah. So Fitzpatrick is going to beat me. That's the way that's going to be. And yeah, that's pretty much it. One thing I will do, I want to go back into these ones with getting all of these. I mean, I have to be able to improve on these, leaving 2,000 on the table. Yeah, I'm going to do that. So what I'm going to be doing probably is just randomly going, not randomly, but like, so like, look, for example, like this is leaving 2,000 on the table. And the reason why that I did that is because, remember, I just resorted to the top 13 and I didn't do any like minimum salaries or anything like that. Or minimum projected points. So we're going to go back to the projections and I'm pretty much so if I can get, another 7 points from going to Stallings to McNeely, for example, I'm going to do that. So let's, or Gordon. But like McNeely, if I'm getting Kitayama. So Kitayama, if I can get up to McNeely, I will, but I can't. But Gordon, Hardy, Gordon and Hardy can become McNeely. Okay, so we'll put the McNeely's 9,600. So Gordon can become McNeely. That makes sense. Boom. So let's go back to these others with all the money left on the table. Okay, so this is 2,200. This one could get to McNeely as well. This one, I mean, all of these can get to McNeely. McNeely's 9,600. So Kitayama can get to McNeely here, right? So let's do that. And then we can get to Power as well. which makes sense. Actually, this one's Stallings. You can get to Hoagie, so we could do that. That makes sense. And then this is 1800. Well, we can get Hardy to get to Rose. We don't want that though. We can get Stallings to get to McNeely here. That's fine. Let's do that. And then over here we could get you get Neesmith up to maybe Riley, I think, or Dietrich. But I still want to get up to the top guys if I can. So let's do again. Let's do Stallings to McNeely over here. And I'm gonna get to some of your questions now in a sec. 500, 500, 2,000, 1,000, 1,000, 1,000. Okay, great. Good. What are you saying, JJ? You're saying any take, any some of the win guys do better. That to me goes into that's already factored into the projection bucket. Because I think that gets factored into course fit and things like that. Now, if you really want to, I mean, speaking of win guys, what happened to, I'm trying to think of that guy. What happened to Daniel Berger? Is he on live or something like that? Seems like he hasn't played in forever. He had like a bad injury. I want to look at this. What happened to Daniel Berger? Seems like the ultimate win guy. There it is. What has happened to Daniel Berger? This is back in July. I don't know what's been going with Daniel Berger. I don't know. I'm missing all kinds of stuff. Yeah, Berger. Yeah, he left before he left, still owing me money. I think Berger. See what JJ is saying. Dietrich's incredible. He's way better than this numbers show. Yeah, that's just not my thing. I'm not gonna argue with you, but that's just not my. What did the kid say? That's not my jam. I'm not, I'm not good enough to say stuff like that. I don't know, Eric. Eric, you keep getting Hostler. Well, I mean, let's listen. I hate to put it this way, but let's just kind of take a look, right? So I have Hostler. Oh, and I'm going to tell you who I bet to win. This is going to be fun, actually. Hold on. So I have Bo Hostler as a really, really good play. To answer your question, I have him right alongside of all these other really good plays. Neesmith, Gordon, Kitayama, Stallings, Taryn, Hardy, Sig, Hostler. Totally. Eric asked me an interesting question, I guess, about qualifiers. He said, when you're playing for a qualifier in Sabre, do you satellite or GPP setting? I'm inclined to just kind of let you answer that, Eric. Because I have a feeling that you already know the answer. How about that? Or at least you know what my follow-up question is going to be. I know Adam knows the answer, or at least the follow-up question. But let's have some fun. Eric, what's the answer? I mean, you listen. You've been around forever, and you're smart, right? What's it going to be? When using Sabre,
playing for a qualifier, use the satellite settings or the GPP settings. I believe you're being disingenuous, Eric. I think you're full of crap. I think you know the answer, and you're just kind of hustling me here. What do you think? Is that bad? Is that like a terrible read by me? You say you always use this satellite settings? Now let's have some fun. All right, so let's build a satellite. First of all, where's the satellite settings? Satellite? Let's take a look. First of all, what do satellite settings look like? Yeah. Okay, so satellite settings look like this. Ownership fade of 4, sim diversity of 10. However, I mean, the follow-up question is, what the hell kind of satellite is it? I mean, how many guys you have to beat? I mean, that's the answer to the question, right? I mean, if it's like a $50 satellite, we have to beat 20 million people. Then I mean, what are you doing here? Are you playing like a 9-man? Is it like a 10,000 man? I mean, the more people you got to beat, the more this thing's got to get pinned to the left, to the right, and the more this thing's got to get pinned to the right, right? What does that mean? What's a 1K Q on DK? All right, fine. Let's see what's up. Let's see the actual one you're talking about. Golf, classic, satellite and qualifiers. So what are we trying to do here? What are we playing? Oh, well, it's funny. I had a I can't really see it now. All right, let's go to the 44-hour qualifier. How many people are in it, and what do you need to win? Let's start with that question. How many people are in it? 1,000. Okay. And what are you trying to do? You need to win the whole thing, or does it pay like 20 spots or something? I just never played this. All right, so need to be 1,000 people. Is that the story? Well, I mean, if you ask me my opinion, I would honestly just, I would actually, boy, I'm between two answers. So I think this is the answer. The answer is this. I think you want to go into satellite, go 150 max, and then just go with their defaults. That's what I would do. And this is why. This is kind of interesting. The reason why I would do this is because it's either between doing this, satellite 150 max ownership fade sim diversity, and this is their default sliders for exactly the type of tournament you're in, right? Pretty much. Even though it might not be actually 150 max. Well, actually, let's think about that. What is the actual max? We're putting in, let's put exactly what this is. So
101 to 1,000. And what is the actual entry limit? How many? Let's just say it's 20. I don't know what it is. What I would do is do exactly what these sliders say and pick satellite. I'm going to tell you why. It's not as easy as you think. Okay. So let's say, like I said, 1,000 people. It says satellite. Entry limit. Let's just say it was 20 max. Whatever it is, you just drop down. 29 max, good enough. 20 max is good enough. And the reason why I would do this instead of something similar, right, with GPPs, like, kind of remember this, like 2.7, right? 2.7 is the builds if you set it this way. If you didn't want to do that, you want to go GPP. If you set a GPP 0 to 1,000, right? And then this would be the same amount of entries, the same amount of entrants. And if you set it on GPPs, it would be 1.6 instead of 2.7. So here's my question, and again, I probably should get Jordan on here. I think I know the answer. Why, Eric, Adam, whoever, what is the difference? Why is there a distinction? Why does, when you set it for GPP, 20 max 101 by 1,000, you get a 1.6, where if you set it for satellite, 20 max 101,000, you get a 2.7 as the default. What do you think, Eric? JJ is saying it's closer to cash build that way. No, but I mean, like, we're presuming that SaberSim knows what they're doing, right? So why do you get two different slider settings, one for satellite and one for GPP, when it's the same amount of entries and the same amount of entrants? Why do you get a 1.6 for GPPs, but a 2.7, which is, you know, more ownership fade and more randomness, for a satellite? The answer is, want to try it, Eric? You're not changing your lineups anymore. It's 1 minute to lock. You haven't changed it. You want to take a shot? And if this is incorrect, then I have to yell at SaberSim about this. The difference is, that is correct, Mr. JJ. That is correct. Because when you're building a lineup for a GPP, yes, I mean, it's important to get first, but you can also win. You could also do pretty well in second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, tenth, whatever. We're in a satellite, when you need first, then you need to have more randomness and you need to have more of an ownership thing. So what I would, presuming that is correct, and that is correct, you know what I mean? Like, that's, if I were building these sliders, that's what I would do. I mean, I would demand more randomness if you need first, exactly. Now, presuming that's what SaberSim does, which I presume they do, I would then default to my usual comment about how to use SaberSim, in that I wouldn't mess with it. I would just, if you're playing a satellite, use the satellite builds and try to be as you know, as accurate as you can. You know, you go GPP, excuse me, you would go satellite, and then you would go leave it like this, but make sure it's 20 max. Now, if you wanted to get cute, okay, if you wanted to get cute, I mean, it's technically, you said it's 27 max. So how would you make this adjustment? This is a 101 to 1,000. Like, if you wanted to, ooh, it's NASCAR soon. JJ, is this true? Oh, uh-oh. Vroom. By the way, I'd like to brag about something. Look at this. We did some good. Look what we did today. Hold on. Did it hold? Yes, it did. Look at this. Let's go. We not only, I mean, did we chopped the 330, the 320 in the LOL, but we had I mean we chopped. I mean we beat the next guy by 30 points. We beat the next guy by 30 points. We had the fat man in the captain who killed it in the second game. Killed it. I mean, the fat man was I think 1-1-0 in the first game or something, and then he went off in the second game. You know what it's like? It's like I think back when the African Americans, you know, like only what used to be argued that only they could use the N-word like to each other. Like I can almost still I can still call people fat because I'm still technically, you know, overweight. So I could call Kin Chan the fat man, I think. So I'm very, very happy that the fat man got there for me in that second game. How do golfers get hurt? You're kidding, right? That is you know how you say, like, tell me that you don't play golf without telling me you don't play golf? Like, asking that question is the perfect response to that. I want to show you something. Hold on. Well, I'm standing, you can't really see. I'm like trying to bend down to like touch my feet. Like, and the reason why I can't is because I play golf. I mean, it's a horror show. And if you have golf is like the worst sport for your back, for your neck, for all of it, and that's it. So yeah, I guess he's trolling me. Oh well, I spent all this time like being nice and sincere with the satellites, and now he's going to control me. Now he's going to troll me. I don't think Eric would do that. NBA players get hurt. That's a non-contact sport. Well, NBA, I mean, that's ridiculous. I mean, like, basketball should be outlawed. I mean, like, if I shouldn't say outlawed, but I could go on forever about how bad basketball is for knees, especially women's knees. Do you, if any of your doctors out there, whatever, the percentage of women who tear ACLs relative to men is just like an incredible outlier. Like the outlier, it's men's bodies as much as men's bodies were not built for basketball. Women's bodies are just doomed to tear ACLs. It's so sad. I mean, I have a good friend of mine who's their daughter tore ACL 3 years in a row. I mean, it's just the way the body is constructed. It's just nuts. So yeah. Anyways, well, you know what we can do? Let's take a look-see at the ownership after all that, right? Actually, I can't. Can somebody tell me the Fitzpatrick ownership? I can't because I don't have any of them. But we could certainly see what Hovland is. Yeah, I figured. So Hovland, I thought he would be 40. He's 35. Okay, fair enough. Hoagie didn't get that much of a bump, which is interesting. Neesmith, we knew he'd be popular. Like all these guys are somewhat popular. Let's see. Let's find someone that had Fitzpatrick. Actually, no. Let's export here. Hold on. Let's take a look at the ownerships here. I gotta go. Hold on. So, how did they end up doing? Wow, nobody played him after all that. 10% owned. Yup, they ended up not playing him. Fitzpatrick, 10% owned. Yeah, the guy that got the bump was McNeely. Up to 26%. Hovland, we knew this. Hoagie. Yeah, I see it. This is just a pitch and putt. Now you just got like a little bit of a sweat of like 8 groups before Fitzpatrick actually takes the field, so to speak.
Yeah, so let him. If he wins, he wins. Now let's look at the bigger buy-ins. I'm actually betting that Fitzpatrick is owned a little bit in the bigger buy-ins. Wow, in the 555, you have Hovland only. I mean, still 36. Let's see. Anybody want to take a guess here? Let's see. Let's see. This is the 555. Oh, your Bo Hostler is oh boy, they pounded the Bo Hostler, 24% owned. Let's go. I figured this. So Fitzpatrick is actually 15% in the 555. That was actually the sneaky sharp play. You know what I mean? To just play Fitzpatrick anyway. I didn't have it in me, and that's how you can just kind of tell. Yeah, the Hostler. That was the dude. You always get one. Neesmith, 21% stalling. So pretty much all the guys. Oh, okay. Fitzpatrick, 6% to 200. Excellent. Just hope he finishes. So what I want to share with you what my my outright bets are, and I sold a little bit on StakeKings, so you'll see me posting here who I have. Okay, so everyone who participated in the golf packages have a free roll on my 2 outright bets. Which are, drum roll, all right, so here's who we have. I just want to get the actual and the cool thing about it is people can bet them now too. It doesn't make a difference, right? But since I'm locked in, I just want to kind of let people know what I have. Ooh, am I not going to be allowed to log in because? Hang on a minute. Might not let me log in because I'm connected to Zoom, but let's see. All right, so my 2 outright bets are my bets. That would be, we will have Will Gordon plus 60 to 1 and Ben Griffin at 55 to 1. So those are my 2 gambles on the day. Okay, so I'm gonna get going because as Adam says, I mean, I have some important there's important stuff to do. Not my hedge fund, not even the NBA stuff, but I think we have LCS to deal with, right? Is that true? Is there really LCS today? Oh, the late sweat. Oh, 5 p.m. Wow, 10K for first in an LCS slate. Oh my God, let's go. Let's go. Yeah, I gotta tell my traders and my clients I can't do anything else today. No more trades today because I have to do LCS projections. Anyway, I am gonna get going. Hope this helps, or hope it didn't hurt too much. And if you want to go back and just tinker around with what I did, what I built, what I call, I guess, cascading. I guess my cascading builds. That's the best way I can describe what I did there. I like doing it in golf. I do. And maybe I'll start doing it in NASCAR. Works in NASCAR too a little bit. Anyway, as you mentioned, NASCAR is starting up, and NASCAR is a freaking. I mean, I don't like the. We gotta get Brandon back on here soon. I want to get another guy in here also. Scott Phil's really good, but I don't like the plate racing. Want to know why? Because it's a crappy sweat. You know what I mean? Like you literally, it's just like you just don't, you know, you have how you're doing just is just irrelevant. Like the whole tournament until the last like 8 laps or something. You know what I mean? Like I like the big bowls with like a mile tracks or even less, where you want to get to the front, and just pile on the Dominator points. You know, just line up, and those points don't go away. You know, like that's what I like. I don't really like the play races, but look, not that I'm not going to play them, but I definitely don't like them. All right, that'll do it. We'll have NBA. We'll do NBA live a little bit later as well. MMA videos will be made hopefully by the end of the day. MMA betting videos will be made either later tonight or tomorrow. And MMA, the slate is not for the week. It's a 10 p.m. start. So there's that. Good luck, everybody.